begin, I want to ask you guys one key question. When you think of Halloween, what comes to mind? Just take a moment to think about it. For me, it's candy, it's decorating, and it's Disneyland. I'm that basic person that's obsessed with Halloween at Disney. Today, I would like to explore the ways Halloween has influenced amusement parks in Southern California. In the past years, there has been a growth in needs to specialize amusement parks to accommodate the festivity of Halloween. Today, I will be going over a brief history of Halloween and the common traditions of the holiday. Following, I will go over a few popular amusement parks and how they begin to include Halloween as a seasonal theme. Following, then I will elaborate its effect on parks such as Disneyland, Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm, and how they each individually take part in all the fun. I will explain when they adopted the holiday and how they expressed their ghostly spirit to ensure a quote-unquote spectacular experience for their guests. To begin, I would like to talk about the origin of Halloween and how it became a part of our culture and one of our famous holidays. According to an article written by Albany University, back in the second half of the 1900s, the increase of European immigrants began to fuse their traditions with American culture. It's believed that Halloween traditions originated from Gaelic festival of Samhain, but was then Christianized to fit American morals and beliefs. With that transition came forth the very popular, also famous trick-or-treating and decorating of houses. On another note, Halloween is famously known as All Hallows Eve or Day of the Dead, which stems from Hispanic influence, where it's believed that your dead ancestors come back to visit you for just one night. Today, in modern culture, society has changed it up to fit everybody's taste in whichever way you and your family celebrate. There are sure to be popular trademarks such as carving pumpkins, wearing costumes, apple bobbing, and even watching horror films. With that being said, let's move on to the integration of Halloween on some of your favorite amusement parks. So here's a few examples of common traditions. So I'm sure you all know Universal Studios, Knott's Scary Farm, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. But the real question is, when did they start and why? It said that they started to create a fun place for families and friends to celebrate Halloween and kind of break up prices so they can bring in more customers during that holiday. Other reports say that creative directors in the park sprung the idea to increase popularity because usually during October it was a dead season until Christmas. In the latest news, it is said that Halloween is widely the most peak season following Christmas for the above parks, and they are said to pull in a profit of $300 million in just the month of October. Which is no surprise considering that tickets come from $40 to $100, and that doesn't include food, holiday memorabilia, cost of pictures if you buy them, and everything that you add to it. So now we ask, when did these parks start to celebrate? And I will gladly go through when they first started. The original creator of was no other than Knott's Berry Farm, who first created Knott's Scary Farm, or traditionally known as Knott's Halloween Haunt. Originally a 3-night affair beginning on October 26, 1973, the annual month-long event celebrates its 44th year this year in 2016. As said by Wikipedia, that's at least the facts that I know of timing. Given that Knott's Berry Farm is a ghost town theme, they said it'd be a great way to root it and create that as your main focus, as one of their haunt farms or scare attractions. I don't go, sorry. But then popular icons were then incorporated, such as Weird Al and Elvira, who were staple stars until 2001, when they made more changes to add more characters and make it more recent. As of 2016, the park has constructed 8 haunted houses, 5 scare zones, a zombie shootout attraction, and 2 live shows. Following in Knott's Scary Farm's footsteps, Universal Studios created Halloween Horror Nights. Horror Nights were originally known as Fright Nights, and it made its first debut in 1991 at Universal Studios Florida. Creator Julie Zimmerman was the first to create the Ghoul School, where people were actually trained how to properly scare the guests that come in and how to do the makeup. This event was introduced to the Hollywood location later on in 1997, and it went on until 2001. Unfortunately for guests that went, in 2001 it closed down, and it stayed down all the way through 2006. When they reopened, they had to remove some factors like the gore. They changed their blood to green goop because of the sensitivity of the 9/11 tragedy it stemmed from, because people were still shooken up and traumatized. So that's kind of weird how that coincided. Also, they scrapped their famous icon of Eddie because of the restriction to their changes. Universal Studios then found inspiration to some of our favorite Halloween movies, such as Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface for Halloween Horror Nights. These attractions still make appearances, as well as their additions to more recent shows and icons that they added for more, what are those called, mazes? Next up is Disneyland, my personal favorite. They began their Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party in 1995, and people don't know this, but they actually started as a response to Universal Studios, so they wanted to kind of make their own thing. Disney created an approach to make it more family-friendly, and as a way to add another event to rake up prices for just a specific event in October. They sell you on the guarantee that your children will receive safe candy and a magical experience with Mickey and Minnie. They encourage your kids to dress up and enjoy a parade where their favorite characters will also be dressed up. I believe it said that Disneyland, aside from the party, Disneyland has full of Halloween influence, and most significantly is the giant Mickey pumpkin, which is a great great place for family and friends to take pictures, and it's kind of the trending part of their whole scheme. If that doesn't scream Halloween to you, they also have a variety of Disney character-themed carved pumpkins, and even smaller pumpkins that hang from a specific tree in the main area. The park also goes under an extensive remodeling and revamping to add little Halloween accents into all of their rides. Most popularly is the Haunted Mansion, where they add Night Before Christmas, and it's a really long line if you go because it's so popular. The park also offers a variety of food and memorabilia, such as pumpkin spice beignets, Starbucks that offers your basic fall drinks that everyone loves to drink right now, and Halloween Rice Krispies, and holiday-specific Mickey ears that you can see in some of the pictures here. As you can tell, there is a great deal of Halloween influence among Southern California's most popular amusement parks. Not only are they quote-unquote magically spooky treat for guests, but they rake in a large financial treat for the host of these events, kind of creating it just after Halloween, the biggest financial benefit for them, on top of other holidays that they celebrate, like 4th of July. It said that the purchase of tickets have increased by 15% in the past year and are calculated to continue growing as the years go on. I believe that Halloween is the biggest holiday that is widely spread amongst the amusement parks. It has been influenced for others to continue the tradition and add on stuff, so we'll probably see growth of that as well, other stems of amusement parks through California and America.
All right, so Jacob, share with us what you thought.
Okay, so she had a really good organization, topical-wise. I mean, she said that she was going to talk about this park, and this park, which she did. So that was nice. She did have an attention device. However, I think it could have been a little bit more developed. It kind of seemed a bit last minute, maybe. I think just asking, okay, just think about this real quick. All right, and but otherwise, like I thought it was really nice. She had a lot of info, really good at statistics. I like the whole dual school thing. I didn't know there was actually a school for like training people to do this. I thought it was just like, oh, you look like you could be scary, like go ahead and do that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. My advice would be try not to read from the cards so much. It seemed like you didn't have a chance to memorize like all of the information. And there was a couple times where you didn't seem too in control of the speech. Like you kind of reached out and asked, oh, what is that called? Or there was a couple like slide malfunctions, I guess, but that could have just been, I mean, you weren't here to practice with that, so. Yeah, but overall, I thought it was really nice. It was very well organized, and all the information was there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not usually a fan of those rhetorical questions and audience surveys, but it worked okay in this situation. And you may benefit a little bit from the fact that some of the other speeches, they're just jumping in with their topic and didn't have a attention device. So I thought that that was pretty effective. Your topic is very clearly identified. Look, you've got an excellent statement of your goal. You've got an excellent preview about what the structure is going to be. So you're doing a good job there. I think there's a little bit of a justification in the body of the speech when you talk about how significant it is to the economy and how much extra business that the parks do at that time of year. Plus, I think you might want to mention that being Southern Californians here, you know, we get the chance to experience this a lot more than other places do. You know, we probably don't always realize that people are not traveling from, I don't know, Missouri to come out here for Halloween time. That's why they have to do something to get people and the locals interested in doing this, and so that's why they've got something that's going on there. So I like the idea of the information that you got. I wish that there was something better than the Wikipedia citation that you gave us, but I'm sure that there's some other places that you got information as well. And unfortunately, I didn't hear them being cited quite as much. I did think that I'd agree with Jacob. It's very well organized and easy to follow. The signposts are relatively clear. You use the visuals as a way of transitioning between points a couple of times, and that works reasonably well. You usually have pretty good descriptions. I think I understand what Jacob's talking about when he says you're a little bit out of control sometimes, because you do kind of regress and ask people to fill in a blank space for you, or you're just kind of thinking out loud and helping yourself. You've got some nice language things planned into your presentation, but they're not delivered like you planned. They're delivered like you're just reading it instead of, you know, this is a funny bit, or this is a cute, clever little line that I've got here, and we're not getting it delivered in a way that works that way. This is not a presentation that we're working on. We're not emphasizing the delivery of things, but if you go to the extra effort to have something like that, I think you ought to, you know, polish it up and make it work for you. And I felt a little bit the same way at the end of the speech when you've got kind of a concluding statement, and it just feels like you're so close to having a nice exit, and then you just don't. You needed to practice it and have the strength of your convictions on that particular point. The visuals, I thought, were integrated into the speech pretty well. You got a little bit lost on that first set where you kind of forgot a couple of slides and then we kind of rushed through them. But everything else I thought was explained pretty well and shown at the right time and gives us a little bit of detail. I do think that I'm kind of wondering why we don't have, do they not allow photography at the events?
Not usually,
Yeah.
because for like the scare actors, it's
Yeah.
kind of confidentiality.
Yeah. Well, I was just kind of wondering, because it seemed like that would be a natural for, you know, not Scary Farm to see some of the actors doing those kinds of things and have a couple of pictures to show that sort of thing. Or when you're describing the mazes at Universal, for instance, to talk about what the mazes are that are featured. You know, you've got kind of a historical perspective on that, and I appreciate that. But some of that stuff, you know, stopped in, like you said, 2007, you know, or they changed some of the things that they're doing. So maybe updating a little bit on a couple of places would be a good idea too. But those are minor quibbles. I think for the most part it's well organized and the visuals are integrated very effectively into the speech. There was one reference to Universal's icon Eddie that they stopped using. I'm going, okay, what was Eddie? I don't know. We didn't get an image of that. We don't know why it was so problematic. It sounds like it's related to a character that's used in, you know, some other context, and I don't know what that is. you want to be careful about leaving pieces of information dangling like that. All right, thank you.